This is the 2026 Chevrolet Silverado EV Trail Boss. This is 2 inches higher off the ground. This has 18-inch wheels with all-terrain tires, and yet it is still a Silverado EV. This one in particular is nice and clean, but most of what we're about to do is not going to keep the trucks clean. I'm going to take this truck off-road and see how it handles getting away from the pavement, seeing if I miss internal combustion while we're roaming around. Should be interesting. But I wanted to at least give you a glance at this truck when it was nice and clean. Pretty on display right here. So here it is. This is a 2026 Chevrolet Silverado EV Trail Boss. I just gave you a quick look around this truck, walking around one on display, but now I'm in one moving. It is a different color. This is a blue one, and I am on my way to a trail to do a bit of off-roading, but we do get a little bit of time to drive it on road first. And regular viewers of my channel will be able to tell right away, I am not on my usual route, I'm not in my usual state, and I am not alone. The person next to me is the lovely Alana Shore. She is the features editor for Car and Driver magazine, somewhere I used to work many, many years ago, and it is very fantastic to have you. Alana, hi.
Hi, we're catching up on all the people that we know in common, which is everyone.
It is, there is some overlap. So Alana and I are going to chat together a little bit, but I'm actually the one driving first. She's going to be giving her passenger seat perspective mainly.
So, okay, here's my first thing. It's got this camera that comes on automatically when you put the turn signal on, and I don't need it because I want to look at the direction.
Yeah, I'm with you there.
I'm sure that there is a way of turning it off, but these are the kind of things you discover when you're already driving, and then you're like, I gotta remember to turn that off when I'm stopped, and then you never remember to turn it off.
Exactly. And this is from a 17.7 inch center display, so this is a nice and big view of the camera when we don't want it at all.
It is a gorgeous screen.
It is. This is one of 3 trims offered. The other 2 are the work truck and the LT. I will go ahead and put the prices of all 3 trims up on the screen for you to see there. Alana and I are both guests of Chevrolet, and the main thing we're doing is to drive this Trail Boss off-road and see what this EV Silverado can do when you leave pavement. But considering that we're on the roads now, Alana, how does it feel to you?
Well, they thoughtfully provided us with these car sickness bands, but I have not felt any need for them. It feels very stable and very calm. I mean, perhaps it's your excellent driving.
I've found that it's riding along perfectly smoothly. Obviously, with the electric propulsion, it's nice and quiet. And, you know, Chevrolet actually did a really good job with wind isolation. I'm not hearing any buffeting or anything like that. Like, the cabin's nice and isolated here. Road noise is pretty quiet as well. So I'm pleasantly surprised there. You agree there?
Yeah, I think when electrics first started coming out to the market, some of the engineers who work in noise vehicle harshness were a little startled at how much their jobs changed, because all of a sudden things that were not a problem when you had engine noise to cover it up became very noticeable. And
exactly.
So far this has been very quiet. We have not been on the highway, which is the real test.
That is true. That is true. Although we have gone above 60 miles an hour. So, you know, we're not just going through city streets either. So it's a mix. We're in the middle ground. But I think the other thing that I personally like about this truck, this is a separate platform from the standard Silverado completely. The EV Silverado is a 4-wheel independent suspension. So it's easy for it to absorb bumps in the road better than a standard truck would. And to me, that's pretty much instantly noticeable. I mean, how do you feel about the ride?
You know, I was just thinking about the ride, because one of the big Trail Boss changes is the wheel and tire package, right? Like they're much smaller, 18s, I think. Yeah,
18s, and then all-terrain tires, 35-inch all-terrain tires, yeah.
And so that's another place where I would have expected it to get a little noisy or a little rough, and so far it feels pretty good. If I didn't already know that this had more off-road tires on it, I wouldn't know from the ride. Yeah,
completely agree there. And, you know, dynamically it's fine. I mean, this is a very, heavy truck. You know, this...
Is that what's happening? It's just crushing the knobs, so they're basically smooth? No, that's not what's
it is a road leveler. That's what the road is smoother when you drive over it. The max battery pack, which is what this have, is 205 kilowatt hours. It is a massive battery, and it's a very heavy battery. I will go ahead and put the weight of the truck up on the screen for you to see. Yeah, it's not light. So the chassis is nicer than expected, and you know, the infotainment, all that's all fine. But obviously, when you have 725 horsepower, 775 pound-feet of torque from 2 electric motors, and you have instant response, the powertrain is clearly the fun thing here. And we do have a little bit of space here, so if I just floor it, we get immediate response and a fair amount of pull. I mean, that's healthy. And we were already going, what, 55 miles an hour? So,
and uphill.
Yeah. And so the response of electric powertrains is by far my favorite part about them. There's no delay. There's no kick down in the transmission. There's none of that. You just get full torque whenever you ask for it. Yeah, that's great. And that's true here on the Trail Boss, just as it was on the Silverado RST, the 2024 Silverado EV that I got to drive a little while ago. If you're at all curious, I'll go ahead and put a link to that review in the description.
Robin, did you tow with it yesterday?
Oh my God, Alana, your segues are so beautiful. Yes, I did. I did do the short loop, so I did drive. It was just a few miles of towing, but I did tow with this yesterday, and let me show you what that was like right now. So again, this is just going to be a simple 10-minute loop, but I am going to do a couple of quick little tests here. We are starting with 234 miles of range, and the trailer is, if I put it in reverse, right here, just like that. So we'll keep an eye on that, and away we go. It's just so quiet as you move. What's interesting is you get a lot of decel when you get off the throttle because of the regen we get, but this is an oddly quiet experience, I have to say. So we're going down a hill right now, just off throttle, and I'm still getting good decel here. So that's something. I mean, I barely touched the brakes yet. I'm one pedal driving with a 5,000 pound trailer attached. Here's something that's interesting. This truck is very heavy because of its very big battery pack. So that actually helps because relatively the trailer's light. Its sway on the truck is actually lower than I'm used to. So the truck feels stable and easy in these circumstances. We're going up and down, so I'm getting a little bit of heave-ho back and forth from the trailer here, a little bit of jostling from the suspension, but generally this is a very easy and pleasant experience. We do also have a rear view mounted camera. There is my view of the boat, or I'm sorry, the side-by-side right there. So I'm going uphill, gonna floor it. It takes a little bit of effort, but we actually have pretty decent pull here still. If I just, yeah. Wow, I mean, I am one pedal driving. I barely touch the brakes here. When you lift off the brake and come to a complete stop, you'll feel a little bit of weird release from the brakes, but the amount of decel you get just from lifting off the accelerator while towing, that is really something. That is a feel that I'm not used to at all. So that is something that would probably take a little bit of getting used to. Now I've lost about 5 miles of range, and we're not done with this route yet, and I think the route is about 5-ish miles. Okay, tight corner here, just off the accelerator, plenty of decel to make this corner and feel comfortable. Wow. So there you have it, towing with the new Silverado EV Trail Boss. So there was my experience. Alana, did you tow with it?
I did. I did a very short loop because I was not excited about towing in the neighborhood that we were in. It was like a Ferrari around the corner.
Yeah, and like pretty tight corners. Yeah, there were a couple times I was nervous for that with that trailer.
No, I mean, the truck didn't even know I was there. And it had that was where the cameras did come in handy because it had like I could see the trailer behind me.
Yep.
It had the cornering camera, so I could see where the trailer was as I was making the kind of gnarly turn, so I could see that I was far away from the curb and far away from the Ferrari, so it was all good.
The thing that impressed me the most, and I definitely, you heard me say so, was how Chevrolet integrated the off-throttle motor regen into trailer towing. So you'll still get as much as 0.4 of a G of deceleration just by lifting off the accelerator, even when you're towing a trailer. I couldn't believe I was one pedal driving a trailered truck. That was insane to me.
We weren't able to test it because we haven't been on any of the Super Cruise highways on this drive, but they were talking about how you could basically set it with a trailer and let it tow you to your destination.
So this also has Super Cruise with a trailer as an option on the Silverado EV, and so that means even when you're towing, you can be sustained hands-free super cruising. And so that's, just as you say, another pretty interesting innovation. So yeah, there's a lot of things about this truck that are super interesting, but with the name like Trail Boss, of course, a big part of this is going off-road. Let me show you that right now. All right, we are officially off pavement on a narrow dirt road heading up into a trail. We've been on this trail for about 50 feet, and yeah, so far so good. We are in the terrain mode for this, and obviously we're in all-wheel drive, 2 electric motors, all-wheel drive, blah, blah, blah. So far so good, plenty of ground clearance, 35-inch tires. I will go ahead and put the approach, breakover, and departure angles up on the screen for you to see the things that we have here in the Trail Boss. So we have the 35-inch tires. They are all-terrain tires. We have 2 inches of additional ground clearance compared to the standard EV truck. And we do also have 4-wheel steering. This truck does have what's called Sidewinder mode, which means all 4 wheels will turn in the same direction and you can actually move sideways around obstacles. So that can potentially be useful. So far, for something like this, it's entirely comfortable for the Trail Boss to handle this. This isn't breaking a sweat in any way. All right, we're back on the trail. We've been going a little bit now. One thing I noticed, if I can find a nice tight corner, the rear axle steering is pronounced and noticeable. So on the truck ahead, if we're coming up on a tight corner, you'll see the steer opposite of the standard to really make the tight corners. It's impressive to watch. So if you look, you can see the wheels moving back and forth a little bit as he turns the wheel. There it is some. There it is some. Yeah, I can see it there. That's cool. Okay, we're coming up on pretty gnarly set of ditches here, and out of the windshield I won't be able to see everything very well, but I do have a front view camera which gives me a nice bird's eye point of view. Let me show you that briefly. And as you can see, the truck ahead, you definitely go 2 wheels off. So here's my front view camera so I can see what I need to see. All right, here we go. So it's a big ditch, and then we kind of drop the passenger side front and just volt the driver's side rear up into the air. So first we're going to drop the driver's side front a little, but then we drop the passenger side front a lot. That's coming up right now-ish. Yep, and I'm feeling some traction limitations. Oh, there it is. Yeah, there it is. Oh, you feel that for sure. The ABS is going berserk, but everything is A-okay. And I'm getting a little bit of guidance to turn that way. Now straighten out again. Yeah. Yep. Plenty of clearances, easy peasy. Plenty of torque for all that. That was never an issue. Yeah. No problem at all. All right. Another obstacle. More ditch work, it looks like. And, you know, we're starting off pretty well cantered to the side here. Alana's back with me. Again, she was out of the truck for the last obstacle, but you can see the truck ahead. You can see the truck ahead bounding around a little bit. Ooh, this is a properly big ditch right here. It's starting to show up on the screen here. It's right off to the side there. Entering in, dumping in nice and deep. Oh yeah, that's proper right there. Look at that. All right, come on. Figure it out, all-wheel drive system. Whoa! Dancing around on two wheels there for a moment. There it is. Yeah, handled it just fine. Handled it better than I handled it, maybe.
You made it very exciting.
Off-roading in the Trail Boss. You know, it can do it. And it can do it just fine. We haven't gone super far. We've been on this trail for a few miles. But, you know, we drove a good 80 miles to get here, and we still at this moment have 365 miles of range left. So, Alana, what do you think of the off-roading chops of this Trail Boss thus far?
Well, that last ditch was, like, considerable.
Yeah.
It might not have looked like it in the video because it all gets flattened out, but it's pretty tilty.
Yeah. The composure of the truck was fine. It felt plenty solid and rigid, and the slip controls put torque where torque needed to go without too much trouble. So there was a little bit of slip here and there, but it really wasn't bad. So yeah, perfectly solid off-roader here in the Trail Boss. So, Alana, final thoughts. What do you think of this Trail Boss Silverado EV?
I think that off-roading is a style choice as much as it is a actual lifestyle, and certainly this truck looks the part and is capable for camping, getting you to a motocross track, that sort of thing. Absolutely. If I was doing real rock crawling, you know, long days and days out in the desert,
that's another thing.
I might go up a level.
Completely agree with that. And I think this is moderate off-roading extraordinarily conveniently, because if it's a shorter trip and the off-roading isn't too crazy, you know, we've got 93% battery charge, 435 miles of range, and we're going up the side of a pretty darn big hill. I don't know if this counts as a mountain quite, but we have lots of battery. 205 kilowatt hours battery pack means that you can drive 100 miles to a destination, power everything you need to power while you're at that destination, and drive 100 miles back, probably on one charge in this thing. The convenience that provides is pretty epic. I mean, you can power, I believe it's up to 10.2 kilowatt hours worth of stuff off the truck. So that gives it a level of convenience. Now, it can charge as quickly as 100 miles for every 10 minutes of charging on the fastest charger. If it's a charger that will give you, I think it's 350 kilowatts of power, it will accept that. But it's going to take its time to charge back up because it's such a big battery pack. For the folks that are open to the idea of leaving internal combustion and going to EVs, but still like to have more adventurous weekends or whatever, more adventurous outings, this Trail Boss offers a lot of strengths, and it's a pretty well-behaved truck when you're on the roads as well. I'm Robin Warner. Thank you very much for watching.